Wire method in LWC. Wire method in LWC is used only to fetch the data, and it can be used to fetch the data either using Apex or the UI APIs of LWC. And in last year, Salesforce introduced GraphQL, and the wire method also used to fetch the data using GraphQL. We'll discuss all these things one by one, but in this session, we are going to talk about fetching data using Apex with wire method. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I will create one LWC. I'll give it a name, learn wire method, and I will create one Apex class, because in this session we will focus only on fetching the data from Apex using wire method. There are other ways also, but in this session we'll be focused only on the Apex part only. So for that, I'm going to create one Apex class here. Controller. Okay. So here we have one Apex class and one LWC created here. So whenever I create any Apex class or any LWC, I have a habit to add header level comments, and to do that I just press CLT and press tab, and what it does is it adds this comments with description, author and the current date. It auto populates. I have a habit, if you feel like you can use it, otherwise it's fine. Like I give one-liner comments always to the class, like learn wire method in LWC. So here what we are going to do is we will create one aura enabled method. So we will type like ARM. So we have two snippets available, one is ARM and other one is ARMC. ARM will create this aura enable method like this, and ARMC creates an aura enable method with cacheable equals to true. So if we want to call a Apex method from LWC, so that method has to be public, it has to be static, it has to be annotated using aura enabled, and it has to be cacheable set to true. So if our Apex method is not cacheable to true, then it cannot be called using wire methods. So let me just delete this one. So here we have our public method which is returning now strings. So what I'm gonna do is I will give a name like get accounts array here, and what we are going to do is it will return array of accounts. Here we will write a return statement and select ID comma name from account. So nothing much I'm doing on the Apex side, it's just that I created one method which is annotated as aura enabled and cacheable equals to true, and then it's a simple method which is returning a select query. So here you can see we have a normal method, like it's a normal method. This is how we declare methods in Apex. And what makes it special is, what makes us different than a normal method in Apex is it has this annotation aura enabled, and then in the parenthesis we have this cacheable equals to true. Why I am highlighting this in Apex is because we are going to do similar kind of thing in LWC. So if we have to call this method on LWC, first thing that we have to do is we need to import, we have to write an import statement where we mention we are importing this method from this class. So for that we have this short key IMA, and I can hit tab and it will write this import statement, which is like import, this is name of the variable, then from and @salesforce/apex/ class name dot method name. So what we are gonna do is we will just copy the name of the apex class, we will paste it here, and then method name we will copy here and paste it here. Usually I give this name, method's name, and this import statement name as same, but it's completely option. It can be any noun. We can assign any value to this import statement, but it's just that I usually keep them same, but it can be different. It can be any string. So now if we want to fetch this apex method, we have two ways. One is the imperative way of calling apex, and other one is the wire method, and in this session we will focus only on the wire method. To do that, what we need to do is we just create a simple method, like how we create methods in JavaScript. So what I do is, usually if I want to wire this method, I create a method and I append it with the handler keyword to it. You can give any name. It's just the name of the method that I have given, and it has one parameter, result. And now it's a normal method, like this way. This is how we normally declare any method in JavaScript. But to wire it, what we need to do is, first thing is we have to import the wire method. So once it's imported, what we need to do is what I was talking in Apex also. It's a normal method annotated with this aura enable annotation, and in this round brackets we are passing something. We are telling this aura enabled annotation that this is going to be cacheable, and we are going to do similar kind of thing here. We annotate this method with wire, and in this circular bracket what we are going to do is we are going to pass the name of this method that we are going to wire. So now a simple method with one parameter as a result, and then we are going to annotate it as wire, and in the parenthesis we are going to mention the name of the method. If there is any parameter, we will pass it like a comma, then we pass one object, and in the object we mention the method parameters. We will surely pass the method parameters also in the next session, but for the time being, this is like the structure of the wire method. Normal JavaScript method annotated with wire, and in the parenthesis we have this get accounts array method that we are going to wire. So here in this result is going to be a JavaScript object with two keys. One is data and other one is the error, if there is an error while fetching the data. So what we can do is, here either we can go like this, if we can check like if it is result dot data, then we are gonna just console.log data, and comma I'll mention data here. Or if is there any issue while fetching the data, if any unexpected error occurs during that Apex calling, we have this object, this result object will have another property name error. So what we can do is we can console log error, simple, right? And now to see this in action, what we will do is, let me just copy the name of this LWC component, and then I will go to the developer console here. And in the developer console we have this learning LWC app, and we can call this component here, and let me save it and then preview. data is not defined. Let's see, sorry, we have to do it like result.data and result.error. Now let me deploy it again. Let's reload the page and let me open the console log. Here now the page loads and we have our data here, console.log, and we have all the 12 records, 13 records, 13 account records. So if I go to my query editor here, if I write select ID comma name from account, we have 13 accounts in our org. So that's why it is showing 13 records here in the console log. So now one thing you have noticed, like we have this result, and then we are using result.data here, and if we want to use it, we have to use it like result.data here, and in the if condition also we are checking result.error. So it's too many result dot. So we could do two things here. Either like we can create a constant variable and we give it a name data and we assign it result.data like this, and then we just remove result from here and here, and we can use data. Now we don't have to do too much of result dot. This is the one thing, and the other thing we could do is there is a concept in JavaScript which is known as object destructuring. So what object destructuring does is, instead of fetching a key from the object like result.data, what you could do is you just remove that result.data. You can keep it as result, and you can keep this left side of the equals to, you can put it into curly braces. So now what this statement does is it fetches the data key from the result and create a constant out of it. So this line and this line does the same thing. It's just that this is an easier way to fetch any key from the object, and this concept is known as a object destructuring in JavaScript. There is array destructuring also. We will focus that on in later sessions, but right now I'm just explaining the object destructuring in JavaScript. So now we are doing this result.error twice. Instead of doing it twice, what we could do is we could follow the same thing for, what we could do is we could do the same thing for result. We can type error here, and instead of using result.error and result.error, we could use it like this. So now let's spin this page and see if it is showing the results the way it was showing earlier. We have 13 records here. So it's better to use JavaScript object destructuring wherever possible. It makes our life easier. So this is about the wire methods fetching the data from Apex. So there is, what if like we want to use wire method and we want to pass a parameter also. So here let like get accounts array from name. So we will pass string name. Here what we are gonna do is we're gonna use the same query here. Instead of just dumping all the accounts, what we could do is we can have a where clause. Sorry about that. So instead of like dumping all the accounts, what we can do is we could have a where clause here where name, I would write it like this, where name like name, and we have to write plus this modulus and then plus none. Okay, so this is the syntax of like if we want to use. So what we are trying to do here is, if I am passing a keyword, it is going to search that keyword in all the names of the accounts. So if I go to my developer console here in the account, so if I pass SA, it would look for SA in all these names. So here, like, we have SA here, and it might be in any other name. So if I type E, so it is gonna fetch all the accounts where we have this E alphabet. Like, we have E here in entitlements, we have E here in Gene Point and in Singapore, and so many other names. So this is what this SOQL query is gonna return us. So now I just save it and deploy it. List of accounts to string. Yeah, I didn't change that data type. So here, instead of string, we'll make it array of account. Deployed. So now what we are gonna do is, so let me just comment out the console log. We don't want to add too many things to our console log. So here what we could do is, now we want to call our second Apex method, so we can follow the same structure here. So the name of our method is get account array from name, so we can call get accounts array from name like this, and we can give the same variable name here. And to wire it, we follow the same approach here. I'll give a name handler, and then one parameter. It has to have one parameter. I'll give a name result. It could be anything, it's just a noun. Usually I give result, but you could give any name here. So we're going to annotate it with wire keyword here, and then we're going to pass the same thing here, and then it goes with comma and then object, and in the object we are going to pass a method parameter. So to pass a method parameter is, we just need to copy this name. We have to pass it like this, name, then colon, then it will go like, let's pass only E. So currently I'm gonna just hard code the value here. So we follow the same thing what we have done here. I'm not gonna explain it again. So here, let's uncomment it out and then save it and then deploy it. Now if I reload the page, I should see accounts with the E keyword in their name. We have now again all the 13 records. So every name should have E in their name. So it's like almost every name has E. So instead of passing just E, what we are gonna do is, we can pass uni. To make it more unique, we can pass it like UNI. So now if I deploy it, so now we get 6 accounts with UNI in their name. So we have UNI here, and in communication here, and then university and United. So we got the five records. So this is like the very basic things of wire methods, how to call Apex using wire method, and There are some things that we need to keep in our mind while working on the wire methods. I'll mention it here. One is that if we are calling it using Apex, then wire caches the data. It caches the data, and I will write the points here, like 1 point here, and then let me add these comments. One is the wire caches the data, and the second one is method parameters of wire are reactive, which means if the value of the variable will change, it will re-execute the whole wire method. And wire method is like any other language, like Apex or any other language. We have like this annotations which gives more power to these methods. So in a similar way, wire is an annotation. It is one of the annotations in a LWC framework. So it's a normal method with one parameter, and we annotate it with wire, and then in the parenthesis, first thing we pass is the method that we want to wire, and second is we are going to pass the variables like this. And if we want to pass more variables, we can have a comma here, and we can have comma separated values here. So the first wire method like expects two parameters only. One is the name of the method that we are going to wire, and second one is going to be one object which is going to be a variables that we are passing from JavaScript to Apex. So this is a object. It's an object in JavaScript. This is an object syntax here. So where name is a key, so where key should be same as the name that we have given here. If it is name, then it should match with the this object's key, and the value is going to be the actual value that we are assigning. So in this wire annotations parenthesis, we have to pass two things only. One is the name of the method that we are going to wire, and the second is going to be one object with n number of key value pairs. So if we want to pass two parameters, this is going to have two key value pairs. If we are going to pass three parameters, it is going to have three key value pairs, and so on for the numbers. So this is about the wire method, and like we can make it reactive. Like we can instead right now I'm just passing a keyword, and we could have a variable here, and whenever the value of that variable would be changed, this would re-execute the whole method. Wire caches the data, but if you want to refresh it, if you are using wire for Apex only, then you have refresh Apex available. We can use refresh Apex to fetch the latest data from the database. So these are the key things about the wire methods. In the coming sessions, we'll talk more about wire methods, like how to pass the reactive properties and how to use the refresh Apex. But for this session, this is about the wire methods. So if you have any question, any confusion about the wire methods, then do post a comment and I will respond as soon as I can. So stay tuned for many more sessions to come. Thank you so much.